Having a good day so far?
Me or them?
You! I know they are because they're at Tampa.
I am having a good day. It's so awesome. Yeah, I'm having a great day.
Good.
I just got here. I mean,
Yeah?
sort of. I got here last night, but then I slept in and came straight here.
I feel more jealousy right now than I've ever felt.
Why? Because you got up early?
You slept
She was
in.
the one that was late to this, not me.
I'm saying, I was just hosting Daniel Cubmore, so...
That ran. Oh, I see. Now I know why you were late.
My priorities are out of whack.
No good.
I just want to point out to you guys, we have some mics in all the center aisles. If you have questions at any time, feel free to line up and just take a knee, and then either I or Pedro will acknowledge you, and then you can stand up and have at it. Real quick, obviously everyone's interested. Game of Thrones, just what's it like? What's the set like? How is it working with the mountain? How is the,
That was the squishing of my eyeballs.
Yeah, it was a real hard.
The squishing of my eyeballs was actually like the best part because that fight with the mountain was shot in 4 days. And it's like, what, like an 8-minute scene?
Yeah.
And I know, they shot it for 4 days and we were in an arena of a bombed out hotel in Dubrovnik and it was September, but it was really, really hot. The sky was totally clear and the sun was blazing. And despite being in agile leather armor, it was really quite cumbersome. It was a very tight, it was like I found out what it was like to wear a corset. And I was like, I can't believe they put up with this shit. Oh my God. And it was like, chain link. It was very thick fabrics for it to look as good as it does because Michelle Clapton, the costume designer, she's a genius. And, but we were really hot.
Was it really heavy?
It was, I mean, I really shouldn't be complaining because Hapthor, who played the mountain, was in, he had layer upon layer, and then the final layer were these they may as well have been bricks,
Jeez.
that were chain linked together all over. And they just made the loudest noise, and the poor guy, I mean, at a certain point, because there was so much that they wanted to get shot, and he would push himself so far, and then it would just get to the point where he was just like, automator off. And they were like, we just have one more, automator off. And so when we got to the squishing of the eyeballs, I got to lay on my back. And it was at the end of the whole shoot, and they put all of these, they had that big aerial shot where you see my head squished in and the blood is just pooling.
Yeah.
You're dressed up as George R.R. Martin.
Thanks a lot.
I've gotten so used to seeing and being around George, and I was just peripherally, I was like, oh, George is here.
It's a very good George.
No, George is not here. But he is. Anyway, I was laying on my back, and they put all of these pieces of fake flesh and blood, all this stuff all over my face, and it was really kind of cool. The material of it was the temperature of it was cool, so I was so comforting I passed out.
While they were shooting you?
Yeah, while they were shooting, I was totally asleep. And they're like, sorry, Pedro, sorry, it's just a couple more minutes. I'm like this. I was like, this shot can take as long as you want.
Yeah, if you're dead, then you're probably helping.
Yeah, and sleeping and happy.
Do you have some questions?
I've been seeing you all day.
Of course you haven't seen me all day.
No, I've been seeing you all day.
I know. I went and got my picture, my autograph, and everything. So my question is, what was it like to get yourself into the emotional state for that final scene, being that there was so much emotion going on with your sister, obviously?
Yeah.
And then what was the choreograph like for
The
that
choreography.
fight?
That's a good question. I was really, I think, more afraid of not being able to arrive to the emotional climax that the character achieves before his demise. Because I knew that as far as Oberyn's story arc was concerned, that was the most important aspect of his entire story for the readers and for everyone watching. And so I understood the value of it, and I was really, so nervous. And we got it. There was this one take, that And because we also had to do it in bits, you know what I mean? And so it'd get to the point where I was like, and I had to keep like stabbing him over and over and like scream my head off to just kind of like arrive to the emotion and then like pull the spear and then start monologuing and and then get my head squished.
Yeah.
But this is a testament to the post-production team of Game of Thrones, which is probably the best in the business, not just television but period, because there was like a squeak in the leather of my costume for the fight. And there was so much dialogue. I basically had to do the entire thing over again in ADR. I had to like with a mic and record and like find the emotion again.
The whole scene.
The entire from start to
screaming.
finish. The start to finish, and you would never know because they're geniuses. They're so incredible with sound, and I think they ended up mixing everything that they could from the actual day to what we recorded in a sound booth, and then them giving me the room to actually find it again. But this time in an air-conditioned sound booth. And you're welcome.
Did you like being compared to Inigo Montoya since that came out? It's such a good comparison.
Who wouldn't like being compared to Inigo?
He's the
He's
best.
the greatest. I mean, obviously George R. R. Martin was inspired by that character from The Princess Bride. What side?
Any old side.
Hello.
So excited.
First of all, you were great as over at Martell. You're my favorite. You played my second favorite show character, and you were.
Oh, who's the first?
Brienne.
Brienne. I'll give that to you.
You were awesome, but if you could play another character, who would you play?
On
Who
Game
would
of
you like
Thrones?
to, yeah, who would you like to play?
Good question.
That is a good question. It's a hard question because I love the show too. I was watching it like a regular fan before I ever got an audition for it. And
Maybe, what about Roz? What about a prostitute?
Dario?
Dario's a hottie, and so are you. I think you can pull it off.
He was voted hottest Game of Thrones character.
You're better looking than the new Dario they just put on.
Oh, come on.
It's 'cause he's missing
Mikhail
quite a
Kweisman is
bit.
awesome.
But you're so much hotter.
Oh,
Don't
thank
you?
you.
Dario's a suck-up. You do what you want.
No, Dario's great. Mikhail Kweisman is a friend of mine, and he's awesome. The person that I don't know, I think that I think Arya is like the most incredible character in the world, and even though I'm not a young girl,
You would make a good Arya.
thank you very much. I think it's somewhere in here in my soul. My spirit animal is a teenage girl.
Over there?
Hi.
I'm sure.
I don't have my glasses on, so
Can you,
left them
can
in
you give a
California.
little background on your new character in the Pablo Escobar series?
That's a little, you just made me nervous because they just sent me an email saying, you can only discuss such and such. And I was like, I can't remember what that is. So I'm just trying to remember what has been published already.
His name's
The series is about, well, no, I am not playing Pablo Escobar. I'm actually playing an actual DEA agent named Javier Peña, who grew up in the States and went down to Javier Peña. And he actually went down to Colombia, and he was heading a U.S. mission to capture or kill Pablo Escobar. It was an actual mission that took place after Pablo Escobar became enemy of the state. And I think that's all I can say.
I'll take it.
Well, if you were going to say a line, maybe with a Spanish accent per se. Any old line, anything.
line?
Yeah, Gettysburg Address, whatever you want.
Anything. That sounds
That would be great.
Anything.
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 Give me a second. The Lannisters aren't the only ones who pay their debts.
She just went bananas.
George.
Yes, George.
Hello.
Tread lightly.
Yeah, it's okay. He's already dead. I have nothing to worry from him.
Touche.
So, actually, had two questions for you. Number one, what was it like working with Mr. Bruce Campbell the Sam Axe
Oh,
film.
Bruce was great. Yeah, he was awesome.
Okay? And then the other question that I have is, if you could choose any character for me to kill from Game of Thrones, who would you pick?
None. Leave them alone.
Finally, somebody makes sense.
Let your children live. Joffrey's dead. And then I met Jack, and he's the
Not even-
greatest.
What about Cersei? Yeah, Cersei.
Don't you kill Cersei.
Why?
Poor Cersei.
Poor Cersei!
Arya loves her too.
I
Maisie.
love Cersei.
Yeah, Maisie said she was really, it's her favorite, and she wants her to keep going. Why do you want her to stick around?
I think that she's, well, I think one, Lena Headey gives such an amazing performance.
Oh, for sure.
And she brings so many different layers to it. It's a fascinating character. Like she can be the most terrifying, and yet at the same time, the humanity sort of peeks through. And at the end of the day, she's really a mother protecting her own, you know. And trying to survive as a woman in that environment as well, in that family, it can't be easy. Yeah. Did I answer your questions, George? Bruce was great. Bruce Campbell was awesome. He was so fun. And yeah, no, don't kill any more people.
Questions?
Questions into that? Oh,
Oh, hello.
Hi.
I have two questions.
sure.
When your face got smashed in, what were the teeth made out of?
The teeth. I don't know what they were made out of exactly. Well, I think they just tossed these fake teeth across the pavement. I don't even know if I was there for that. It just sort of like, you know, like dice. And but they did make a cast of, you know, they did a cast of my head from the shoulders up. They did a cast of my face. With my expression contorted in agony. And then they did my teeth as well, and they like, you know, they had this really disgusting, like, false, like, teeth that was, like, so many of them were, like, knocked out and already, like, bursting with, like, swelling and, like, blood and all this stuff. So those are the different ways, and I don't know what the actual teeth were made out of.
Okay. Okay, and is there some kind of disconnect when you have memories of your things on set, what you do on set and every day, and then you watch yourself in the episode? Is there any kind of disconnect? You're like, oh, I don't remember that, or oh wow, that looks so good, I thought I was doing it wrong or something.
I would say that there were definitely a few moments in watching the series that these kind of pinch me moments that I had, a scene that I thought that I had screwed up and somehow they found, I don't know, picked like the good take. And it wasn't until later that I got to see how beautifully, like, the shots were angled and the way that they told the story. I felt very loved by the directors. I was like, oh wow, they make me look good. You know? So,
Thank
yeah.
you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Hi.
Hey, big fan.
Thank you.
You said that you were a fan before you got the role.
Yeah.
When you got the role, did you know the fate of your character? Like, did you read the
I did know the fate of the character because it was in the description of the character for the audition. I mean, it didn't say how he died, but it did say that he did die. It said that he had like this, like he cuts a swath through the 4th season and then dies valiantly. It was like valiantly.
Hope you die valiantly.
Yeah.
In the show?
So the creators of the show, when they flew me out to Belfast to meet them, they told me, and I was like, really? I was like, head squish? That's disgusting. So, but I did know, yeah, before I went out to shoot, because they have all 10 episodes written before the first day of production, so it's like going and shooting like a 10-hour movie almost, you know? So you really can start anywhere in your storyline, depends on how the whole season is mapped, because of location and actor schedules and stuff like that. So my first day was actually the cell scene with Peter, towards the end of my story arc. And then we went back to the beginning of the season and shot like the orgy in the brothel, and then like the trial, or the scene with Varys, and then we went off to Croatia and like, you know, strolled through the park with Lena Headey and like the wedding and then the death, and so it was like all over the place.
And if you could give like a piece of advice to your character before you got a sex session, what would it be?
Just get it done.
Maybe this is a rude question, but what's it like shooting an orgy scene? We're all curious. Let's not kid ourselves.
It was fun.
Enough said. Question?
Hello.
Hi.
My question is, on Game of Thrones, you're one of the only character that uses a spear.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty awesome. Like, how much weapon training did you have to do, like a lot of training for the combat scene?
I did. That was the hardest thing for me because I'd done like fight choreography before, but more like hand-to-hand combat and stuff. And I'd never used a sword, and I'd never used a spear that was like, you know, 7 feet tall, basically with the blade. So that was the most challenging part when they put me in training with a master of wushu in Los Angeles for a couple of weeks before I went to Europe to start shooting. He gave me a big, you know, like we would train with like a bamboo stick. And then I went to Home Depot and bought a curtain rod. And I started practicing in my apartment. And I kept on like hitting myself and furniture and walls and stuff like that because I was too shy to go outside and do it, like in the alleyway or in a park or something.
Hey, go on a street corner.
Yeah, although Los Angeles I'd probably fit in just fine.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm a huge fan. Mucho love.
I love how you brought the character of Oberyn Martell to life, so thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to know, as a fan of the show, what was your favorite part about playing Oberyn Martell? Like getting into the whole world of Westeros.
I loved the idea of ushering in a new element into King's Landing. I liked I think that it scared me initially, but it was really amazing to get to play somebody who would step to Tywin, step to Cersei, make no apologies for any of his actions, you know, any of his feelings, his sexuality, the way he wants to live his life. It's just pure logic to kind of like live life to the fullest, basically.
Yeah, we love that about it.
Me too. I love that about him so much, and to make no compromises. I think that it you know, we as sane human beings, some of us anyway, can't really live life without compromises because it'll be a short life. But in the world of Game of Thrones, to be the one person who isn't calculating and has no fear, and his loyalty. I like that he was dangerous, but at the end of the day, he was a really good father, a good brother, a good lover.
Oh. Thank you.
He's a talented guy.
Not to toot your own horn, but...
Sorry, a little short. Hi.
Hi.
I have 2 questions. Who's your favorite male character on Game of Thrones?
Who's my favorite male character?
You can't pick yourself, but...
No, I won't pick myself. I like Tyrion. I like so many of them.
And then my second question is, as a fan, how do you feel about Oberyn's death?
Oberyn's death?
Yes. As a fan, how do you feel?
I think it's gross. And, you know, I had this very interesting conversation with Lena Headey, actually, while we were shooting it, and she was talking about the way that she saw the character, and that ultimately the one thing that he wants is achieved. It's a confession. He wants to hear the words said aloud, which does actually happen, even though it's quite, bittersweet is an understatement. But she sort of described to me like the ecstasy of achieving a life goal like that, and how maybe there's that element of delivering yourself into your own end because you finally got what you wanted. And so that was a really interesting layer that I thought about while we were shooting it, and a different way of like looking at his death.
Okay.
Or just a rationalization because it's so fucking gross and sad.
All right, thank you.
So gross.
Hey there, so
Hi.
two questions. First one would be,
I don't have my glasses on. What's that costume you're wearing?
have you seen How to Train Your Dragon?
Yes, that's what it looks like. Yes, very
It's
nice.
3 days and I haven't slept.
It's
so-
fantastic.
Sweet, thank you.
You look great.
Thank
It's
you.
all worth it.
First question would be, you ran in the fourth season of Game of Thrones and made an amazing character and then ripped all of our hearts out and you died.
George.
How much of that character was written in the script and how much of that was really just you? Because I have a feeling that just any actor couldn't really fill that slot that you were in.
Thank you. Although I will, and this isn't me trying to be modest, I've not gotten to do writing that good on TV up until I did Game of Thrones. And I also think that David, I think all credit is due to David Benioff and Dan Weiss, who took a character from George's books, which was already so original and badass, but I think that they really fleshed out some more elements, you know? They made him intersect with more characters, and I think they took a real opportunity to kind of like explode him in the fourth season. And so there was sort of that lucky element for me to get to play a character that the creators of the show, I think, loved so much, you know?
Yeah.
And so it was just that perfect synchronicity. I give them about 90% of the credit because those were just really good scenes, you know.
Yeah. My second question would be,
Yeah.
having your head smashed is a pretty awful way of going out.
Yes.
If you could pick any other way for you to go out heroically, what would you do?
Another way to go out heroically, or like less painfully.
Just like go out like a badass.
I don't know, get like really, 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 really drunk and then like fall in the water. And like the warm, like Adriatic Sea, like sunset or something like that, and be like, oh, it's so beautiful.
And drown.
That's the way I'd like to go.
Just a quick interjection. If everyone could just ask one question so that everyone has a chance to speak to Pedro, that would be awesome. We would appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey,
Hey, first off, congrats on your career.
thank you.
Big, and hope you enjoy our great state.
It's gorgeous.
It's
I come to
hot.
Florida all the time. My sister lives in Miami.
Well,
My question is, did you steal any prop as a souvenir from the show?
Did I steal any what?
Prop, like your spear or your sweat covered suit?
I didn't. I tried to. I was like, just give me the rings.
What would you steal?
And they were like, no. And I was like, we'll ask. I'm like, you're not going to ask anybody. Come on, give me the rings. I wanted the thumb rings because they were like the smallest, easiest thing. No, all I ended up getting to take with me was the little container where the ink was when I was writing my daughter a poem.
not even the spear?
I was like, I'm not even going to ask for this. No, I couldn't fit the spear in my luggage. How would I get back to the station?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi.
So, I was lucky enough to see you when you did the run of Much Ado About Nothing.
Oh, you did? You made it out there?
Yes, it was
Oh, cool.
very rainy that night. But my question is, acting on stage versus acting behind a camera, which do you prefer or even find more challenging?
There are different. I can't prefer one over the other, and I can't identify one as harder than the other either, because the challenges are so specific. I think that there's like a level of there are moments, more intimate moments that can be captured on film that is harder to reach like a live audience. And then of course when you're on stage and nobody's saying cut, and you can and you have a start, middle, and finish. You get to kind of like physically experience the part without anybody interfering. That's sort of an amazing, and then the energy that you get back from a live audience, of course, there's nothing that can compare to that. There's nothing that can compare to like a good laugh or like a really, really perfect silence because everyone is paying such close attention, But then, of course, there is things that you can do that can be captured on film that won't necessarily read on stage. So I really love both, and I find both to be particularly challenging, and I find both in different ways to be totally frightening. I had such stage fright for Much Ado, and I was like, what the hell is going on? I've been doing this for years. I was like, and I'm terrified. I'm hearing noises. I can't breathe. What the hell's happening? But it was still cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi.
Hi. First, I just want to say your performance was phenomenal.
Thank you.
Especially the death scene. And that's my question. How did you manage to give such a fantastic blood-curdling scream? Because it gave me nightmares. That's the highest praise I can give.
Well, wouldn't you say that Indira Varma gave the blood-curdling scream? I mean, she really, I feel like let's give her a round of applause. Because she had so little room to make her presence known, and I feel like she was just right there beside me, you know? And that expression, I feel like emotionally she kind of like really delivered the tragic moment for the audience. But yeah, I had to do that scream again in a sound booth, actually. And just scream my head off, you know? I don't know, I'm a good screamer. My parents would definitely vouch for that. In my childhood, I held on to my ability to scream.
Hi, I'm
Hi.
a little nervous. Being that you were a fan of the show before you got the audition, when you actually auditioned for the character and it was, hey, you've got it, did you ever experience a point of, I guess, say,
Total
being
elation?
being overwhelmed or stressed out at one point by realizing once you're on the set, hey, I've got some pretty big shoes to fill?
Yeah, I was terrified. Yeah, I was really, I mean, at first I was so happy. I couldn't really believe it. I remember, because I was in Belfast, and I went and I met, and it was sort of a confusing experience because I thought that I had to go out there and audition, like, for the last time. But I arrived, and David and Dan were just like, congratulations, we're so glad you're here. We were sending you to a costume fitting, and I was like, what? And then that night, like, you know, it was sort of, you know, it was official. And I remember being outside of the hotel in Belfast and not really knowing what to do with myself. Just kind of like alone, and like you know, I didn't have Wi-Fi and I couldn't call anybody, and I was just like, you know, you're welcome. And then thereafter, I was very, very nervous. I was very, 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 very nervous. Who's next?
Hey, my question is, how did you and the rest of the crew like filming, or should I say your vacation in Croatia?
The vacation. I mean, that was the great thing about it, is that we worked so hard, but we still had weekends off, you know what I mean? And we were in Dubrovnik, and it was so beautiful, and I got that really lucky experience that my character was a part of scenes that had involved so many cast members. There was the trial scene that had so many people around. We did shoot that in Belfast, but it was still like fun to be in a scene that had so many characters in it. And then in Croatia, we shot the wedding. So like everyone was there, you know. It was the most main cast members in any scene in the whole series. And so we all hung out.
Yeah, I saw a picture of you guys in the swimsuits and all that.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the Adriatic Sea is right there. So we hung out, we had fun.
All right, thank you.
Welcome. Hey.
Hola, Margulis.
Hola, Margulis.
I just wanted to say it's an honor to be here today and to be able to talk to you.
Thank you.
It's like, thank you for giving me a chance, you know, to be able to say to my children, if I ever get any, that hey, you know, I got to talk to Pedro Pascal. Thank you.
Is your shirt a Viper?
And your kids are gonna be like, who's that?
My question for you is, I was just wondering, for you, like having to practice wushu for those, I believe 6 months it was.
Yeah.
Like, did you, like, after doing so, after that, did you want to learn more or practice any other form of martial arts or weaponry interested you?
I definitely, I found wushu to be actually I was so glad to get through, you know, what we had to shoot for the show. And you guys, I did the whole fight, but I did have an incredible double. Like the guy was, you know, he was a genius, and he was definitely, he taught me, he was part of the choreography of the show, and he had so much to do with what I learned. And I think that I'm too old for wushu. You know, I like boxing, and not even with another person.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And did your double do all the flips and the acrobatics?
We did the, he taught me how to do, like, I had to do the sort of like helicopter things, and then,
Yeah.
I mean, like, he basically, like, he was just sort of like step by step, like every moment of the fight. And he had his own, like, passes in the wide.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry to break the illusion.
Me. Other stuff was cool.
Hi.
Hi. I have a question. I am also an actor. I do stage stuff and everything.
What are you dressed as?
I'm Emma Frost.
Oh, of course.
And
Is that Frozen?
no. X-Men.
Dun, dun, dun. I'm just kidding.
Totally a
Fell
joke.
for it.
Yeah, you got him.
Anyway, so every actor has their dream role, and whether it's on stage, a stage show, or on film, what is your dream role?
Oh my gosh. I should have prepared for this. What is my dream role? I mean, I think I've passed, I don't know. Oh my God. My dream role when I was a kid was Indiana Jones. I broke my left arm 3 times trying to be Indiana Jones. I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I mean, you know, Jonathan Rhys is here, and that was crazy. Because I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I tied sheets together and tried to climb the side of our house. My parents got me like a whip in an airport in Texas or something like that, and I was like with a fedora, it was a mess. I was like, constantly injuring myself trying to be Indiana Jones.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hi.
Khaleesi.
Okay. I want me and a friend of mine. He's all the way in Italy, and he's kind of mad that I'm here talking to you because you're his favorite character.
He's
so
jealous.
Yeah, he's really jealous. We wanted to know what was your favorite line from Oberyn, and if you could say it in his accent.
What was my favorite line from Oberyn? There's so many favorite lines. I have to do it in an accent?
Yes. It's only fair.
You have to.
That's not a monster, I told her. That's just a baby. I think that was like my favorite line. And then and then my other favorite line from the series, I didn't say it, was Cersei. I think she says, "Everywhere in the world they hurt little girls." I thought that was a very intense line. And I told David Benioff, I was like, my favorite line. He's like, "Well, what scene is it?" And I was like, "It's me in the garden, da 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 da." And I was like, "It's when she says," he's like, "I wrote that."
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So after the death scene came out, there was this video of you and you're squishing fruit. And
Yes.
my question is, how did that come about, and what was your favorite fruit to squish?
That was that BuzzFeed article thing. And actually, my sister has a friend who works at BuzzFeed, and she was like, you know, my friend who works at BuzzFeed wants to get in and see if you would come in and do a thing. And I walked in, if you see the video, I'm like wearing a t-shirt, shorts, and flip-flops because I had no idea what I was walking into. I had no idea that I was going to be shooting anything on camera. I was just sort of like blindly, I'm pretty lazy, so I don't read emails very clearly. I'm really bad in a grocery store, like I just can't focus. I can't like find the item that I'm looking for, and it sort of happens with emails. So I just kind of like walked in and I'm like, "You guys want to talk?" And they're like, "No, here's all this fruit, and you're gonna squish it, and we're gonna shoot you and everything." And I was like, "Oh shit."
What was your favorite one, though?
It was the tomato. The tomato was like, it exploded. All over the shirt that I had, it was a mess.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi.
Hi. I'm so short. My question is, how would you describe the relationship between Oberyn and Tyrion Lannister and their roles within the world of Game of Thrones?
I think they're kindred spirits. I think that Oberyn is a defender of the underdog, and even though he sasses him so badly in the first episode, I think that through the trial he recognizes the sham of it all, and how Tyrion has been living so marginally and having to defend himself against circumstances that he had no hand in, and so I think that I do have my own agenda, and I want revenge, but I think that Oberyn and Tyrion under different circumstances would be like great drinking buddies.
Absolutely, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
My question is, personally, what's your favorite house in Game of Thrones?
House Martell.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, they really made the mics tall. I've noticed.
Yeah, it's kind of prejudiced. It's smaller.
It's kind of prejudiced.
But I was wondering more, like, leading up to Game of Thrones, what did you thought about, like, being an actor and things like that? Like, what have you done, and...
I started out really sort of early as far as studying was concerned. It was something that I always wanted to do. The fact that I'm still doing it is still unbelievable to me. I got into like a performing arts program in high school that my mom found me, but I was already really into films and wanting to be an actor. And so I also went to university for it, and then I spent, my entire 20s and 30s auditioning, and I sort of started getting my first jobs in New York and doing theater. So I've been at it for a really, really long time, actually. I've done a lot of different TV shows. I've been in every single interrogation room, in like every single Law and Order, CSI, NYPD Blue, and that's probably like already, like dated. Nobody even knows what that is anymore. Without a Trace, all of them, and continuing to do it now, with Game of Thrones, and then going on to do the Netflix series, and doing the play in the park. You were here somewhere. I saw you. You saw the play. I don't know where you went. There you are. So that's, yeah, you're welcome. Hi. Nice dress.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, that's a little naughty. But
I
anyways,
can hear you.
if you were given the opportunity to be on Walking Dead, would you?
Yeah. I don't know if I'd want to be a zombie though, because that would mean getting into the makeup chair like really early in the morning for all that makeup. But yeah, I've auditioned for The Walking Dead before I got Game of Thrones, but I didn't get the part. What? You call them. Start fan casting me in that.
Maybe you can gouge their eyes out.
Yeah, exactly. I gouge somebody else's eyes out.
Zombie face.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. Hello.
Hi.
So in a perfect world, if Oberyn didn't die, how
Yes.
would you like to see his character develop into the story further?
I don't know, maybe travel Westeros with Tyrion. And Eladia Sand and hang out with my daughters. But it's not what happened.
Quite the opposite. You did not go on a brothel.
Retire. A brothel.
As a fan of Game of Thrones, how would you like to see the story end?
How would I like to see it end?
So evil.
I'll tell you right now, I want Tyrion alive. I want Arya alive. You fuck with Arya, I'm coming after you. Sorry for the language. There was no instruction beforehand that I wasn't allowed to curse.
You're very passionate. It's good. It's good.
That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to be greedy.
Just so you guys know, we have 5 minutes left, so we'll try and get in as many more questions as we can.
Hi.
I just wanted to know,
The pressure.
I know, who is your, like, favorite Game of Thrones character? Like, if you could have chosen a different character to play, like, who would it have been and why?
Well, Tyrion and Arya, I think. I keep on bringing them up. I'm sorry. I'm like, I should be spreading the wealth. But what do they care? Those two characters, I always get stumped on this question because there are so many characters in the show that I like. It's so, I get all like, oh, I like all of them, you know? There's so many like smaller characters that I think are really great as well. I loved Renly Baratheon. I loved Marjorie. So many of them. Jaime Lannister is so great. Nikolai is awesome. That's enough. And yeah, and Brienne of Tarth, of course. And Podrick.
He must be your son.
He's the best. He's such a good guy.
Hey, him.
Hey.
Hey, what's your most favorite funny moment in Game of Thrones?
Like a funny moment that happened? Or, I mean, like off camera or on camera?
Off camera.
Well,
Yeah, that's the story.
there was lots of funny moments. No, I can't tell you that one. I just can't.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
You could totally do it. We're not going to tell anyone.
It involved, right. It involved like just being with a lot of naked people.
Happens in Westeros.
Just having a moment of being like, everyone's naked. I'm done. That's all I'll say.
This is Michael, okay. Out of the whole Game of Thrones universe, if you could interact with any other character, like, out of, like, anywhere, who would you interact with as Oberyn? Like, who would you like to
I'd like
interact
to meet
with?
Khaleesi. See if she could resist Oberyn. It'd be like a big challenge. Fell for Dario, right?
Yeah.
She
She fell for you like that.
Right?
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so let's just pretend that no one is dead.
That no one is dead, okay.
Who would you like to see on the Iron Throne?
I'd like to see Tyrion on the Iron Throne. I think that he's the most. I think he's the most suited. You know, another favorite character of mine. I wouldn't want to put her on the Iron Throne because I think it's such a dangerous place to be. And for Tyrion, I think that he has the intelligence, the cunning, but he also has the empathy to rule. You know, and I think empathy is the ultimate ingredient to be a real ruler, because to be able to feel what the people need and want, you know, and I think he could.
I agree.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Team Tyrion. Do we have time for how much?
We have like 4 more minutes.
Oh, didn't you say 5 minutes? Like 5 minutes?
I did say 5 minutes, but
4 more minutes?
there's so many questions. We'll just push it.
Okay.
Unless you want me to call her.
Hey.
When I watched that episode, I was so upset. I went to my sister's room and I was like, he just got here. And my sister turns around crying. She's like, why would they do that?
George.
Exactly.
So my question is, do you feel the way that he went out, was it okay? Or do you feel like he should have stayed longer?
I think it's perfect the way that it is. I think that it is definitely very brutal to introduce a character and for people to get attached, to like them. I mean, of course, I didn't know if that would happen. I didn't know how people would react to Oberyn Martell, so it's very gratifying for me to hear that everyone was really upset when he died. But if, you know, as an experience, I think that he probably gets to live even more powerfully in people's memory because of how brief and loud his presence was.
He should have just killed him though.
I know. It's like, yap, 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 just kill him.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi.
Hi, I'm Zaina. My friend Louise says hi again.
Hi, Zaina, hi.
My question is, you said that you felt nervous in some of your scenes. I'm curious what scenes like made you feel like that.
Well, it was pretty intimidating to like do a very dialogue-heavy scene with Peter Dinklage on my first day of work. Definitely wanted to get that right. The fight was the most physically challenging thing that I'd ever done. And Hapthor is a big guy, and that sword was basically my height. It was literally like, it was literally my, oh no, the sword's taller than Cersei. Yeah, I mean with the handle anyway. And then, you know, I mean all the way down to like, and then of course like, you know, jumping into a bed with a bunch of naked people. Like there were like, you know, there were challenging things across the board. My favorite was like being in the trial and just like getting to sit in a chair. And like Charles Dance, do your thing, Lena Headey, do your thing, Peter Dinklage, do your thing, Sibel Kelly, do your thing, like everybody, and I'm just gonna chill and watch. I loved that.
Your lines during the trial were great.
They were pretty good.
Hello?
Hi.
Sorry, I'm a little sleep deprived, so sorry if my words are kind of slurring. I kind of want to be an actress when I grow up. I've been doing it ever since I was little. Can you give me any advice on that?
I think just do it. I don't know what else. I don't know what else to say. But there's so many things. No matter, I guess, like whenever you want something, there are so many different things that can discourage you or get in your way. And the only way to actually get it done is to just do it. Just to wake up every day and do it and to seize every opportunity. I think studying and reading and watching films is all really, really essential. I got into that very, very young just because it was what I was interested in. You know, getting into good TV shows and just sort of like educating yourself and just like, you know, don't be too afraid. Like none of it is as scary as you think. You know, you just do it and you just be yourself and you do your best.
Thank you.
Every opportunity you can.
All right, we have time for two more questions. Two more questions.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay.
Everybody see her shirt? It's so cool. It's the Oberyn Defense Squad.
Nice. Okay, my question was about Oberyn's voice. In the like preliminary packet, Oberyn's, here's the character. Did it say a particular accent they wanted you to take on? I mean, he's a very like sensual, sexual person, so did the, I guess, Latin accent, which is a very broad term, but was that kind of just what came out of you, or was that a conscious choice, or?
It was a conscious choice when I auditioned for it. It wasn't in the character description. It didn't say. I think it was an instinct on my part that I got the impression that he was definitely ushering in a very different element into the show. And so I thought that it would probably be appropriate if he sounded different and sounded in a way that we hadn't, you know, come to know yet as audience members on the show. And so there was that aspect to it, and also like I can't do a good British accent. So I was like, I'm definitely not doing that.
Well, I mean, let's hear a line in it.
Yeah, try it.
Let's hear the British.
Try
No.
British accent. Yeah, do it.
Sorry. No, I just told you I can't do one, so I'm not going to try.
Cockney.
Nope. You be quiet over there. You keep on egging me on to do different accents.
Surrounded by all those Brits, and you didn't pick anything up.
I mean, I did. I just didn't pick it up well. What do you want me to say? I can't! No, please! Next question.
Hey, I'm on your team.
I know, but I did it. I did it for you.
Thank you.
Team Oberyn.
Hi. I loved
Hi.
your costume on the show. How much did you enjoy it? Was it comfortable?
The costume was amazing. My robes, you mean? They were amazing. That was my first big pinch me moment, was when I went to a costume fitting and Michelle Clapton, the costume designer, put the robe on me. And it was just a mock-up at that point, but it was the silhouette, and I kind of understood exactly what she was going for. And I looked in the mirror and I was like, I look good. So I thought I loved the costumes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You guys, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. I love you.